Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today we're here to talk about Marvel Horde Force. Yes, that's right. So now that we're in patch 6.3 and with Gear Tier 17 released, I'm honestly I'm really not sure what I'm doing. And I know that's a weird thing to say, because now that I've cleared Dark Dimension 5, I really don't know what I want to do with my resources other than what Scopely has told me that I do need to do, which is things like preparing for Apocalypse, you know, getting a Gear Tier 15 for Darkhold for the upcoming Pestilence Saga. That's to unlock Difficulty 2. Difficulty 3, which only unlocks the costume, which is important later for Apocalypse, but not immediately required. You know, for the I don't need to get that right away. I really don't know where I want to put my teal gear right now. So these are the kind of things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about what I'm doing in my roster, what I'm doing in my store with my currencies, these kind of things. And why I think that maybe we just, for those of us who are in the end game, need to sort of sit on our resources for a little while, because there's not really much else to do. So I'll get into more detail with that. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. And to start things off, I mean, I want to start here in the Cosmic Crucible store, because, you know, honestly, for patch 6.3, I really thought that they were going to actually release new characters in the store for shard farming, and I'm actually kind of disappointed that I was wrong in a weird way. Now, as far as the store updates go, when they said that that was going to change, all that meant was that they were going to add Gear Tier 17 pieces, minis, into the store, and that was really lackluster in my opinion. Even though I know a lot of people didn't want to put shards into the store, I thought that it was going to help farmability. So, what they have here is at the very bottom row here of the store, they have two minis that you can get for Gear Tier 17 for 3,900 Crucible credits. And this is a lot. You know, you need like 20 of two. So there's two different minis per origin, which means there's 10 total. And you need 20 of each of them for one gear piece of 17. So that's a lot, which means that, you know, you would need, per origin character, you need 40 of these, right? So you could take that 3,900 value, and you could multiply it by 40, and I didn't have my calculator, that's what I was doing. So 3,900 times 40 gets you 156,000 Crucible credits, just for enough minis for one piece of gear. Now you can see up here, I've been hoarding for a little while. I have about 100,000 Crucible credits. I have picked up a few of the pieces. I'm mainly saving for Mystic. I don't know why. I guess because of Darkhold, right? And I'm thinking like Morgan Le Fay might be my first Gear 17 character that I'd want to take up. So I'm kind of just waiting for the store to flip around until I get Mystic pieces in the store. I don't know if that's the best idea, but honestly, I'm saving on my credits as well, my elite credits, because I'm wondering, just like they did with War at some point, whether or not there's going to be a Gear 17 orb. And so that's another reason why I'm hoarding these things, because I don't, now that I've beaten Dark Dimension 5, it's not a huge imperative that I need to get like 2 pieces of these per orb and like origin gear, which is a little bit easier now, especially with the origin challenges and the stuff that are in here is nothing that I super need anyways. So, you know, I can get this stuff elsewhere. So I'm thinking of saving these elite Crucible credits for maybe a teal gear, a teal 2 Crucible orb. Honestly, it's not far off the mark that we would get something like that. So I am hoarding in possibility that we might get this over the next few months. I don't know how long it would take necessarily, but hey, I believe that this game always encourages hoarding to a degree that people who do hoard and who don't need to open their stuff right away, I think will get more benefit from it long term. So, since I completed Dark Dimension 5 twice, I don't have any real, you know, quick imperative to have to Gear Tier 16 or 17 my characters, you know, other than the considerations for Apocalypse. So, that's what I'm doing right there. Now, as far as my War Store goes, this is a little bit awkward. Actually, you know what? I did open these Orange Gear War Orbs. I really don't think that we're ever going to get a Teal Gear War Orb, or if it'll be a very long time from now. I did this because I'm really short on catalysts, some orange catalysts, so that's been a big problem for me. I don't know about you guys, but after upgrading Deathlock, I am super hurting for, I don't know, are they in here? I hope they're in here. These focus catalysts, I have 500 of these, and I'm like trying to think for my Bionic Avengers when I need to gear them. SPCs, I'm okay. I'm still alive, but for some of my catalysts, I'm just way down in the hole. Damage, I'm at 1,000, but focus is really, really bad at 500. Health is actually not too bad, but focus definitely. And I'm going out of my way to have to farm that. So really crazy situation that I'm in for that. But as far as my war credits go, I'm currently trying to get Maria Hill to 7-star because I realized that I never actually had her at 7-star. But after I do that, I'm actually not going to spend my war credits at all. I'm going to continue saving. I think one day that they will add Gear Tier 17, maybe in a couple of months also, into the War Store. And since I'm not in a rush to get to Gear Tier 17. And I'm very confused with the way that Gear Tier 17 was even rolled out. Because while Apocalypse is sort of like Dark Dimension 6, it's not really, because it's not in the same thing. It's not with the lanes. It's not like you built and you kind of like progress through the nodes, you know, in a particular order. You can kind of see it that way through the Apocalypse sagas, the different Horseman sagas. But realistically, that's, you know, it's not the same. So it's a bit of a weird situation. So, you know, and that brings us to, well, yeah, I haven't seen, are they in here? Are Gear Tier 17 pieces in the store? Because I don't really know. I haven't seen any in the supply store. If they are, you know, let me know in the comments down below. If you've seen G17 minis in the store, let me know how much they cost, because I've never actually seen any yet. So, as far as my roster goes, though, you know, with all of my characters that I have at Gear Tier 16, there's just no rush for me to get to 17. Like, and then, like, who do you take outside of the Apocalypse characters, right? Like, is there any reason whatsoever to Gear Tier 16 people that are not Apocalypse related? And I guess the only answer to that would be raid characters, maybe like Bionic Avengers. But do I want to G16 my Bionic Avengers? I mean, the whole team's not out yet anyways, but do I even want to do that? I don't know. You know, do I want to G17 Dormammu? I don't know, right? Because he's not a part of the Apocalypse saga that we're aware of yet. And so I don't know what I really want to do with my gear. I'm kind of just sitting on it. And I don't know if anyone else, especially anyone who's like in the Dark Dimension 5 range or soon to clear or has cleared. I know there's like, I think at this point there's like maybe 18,000 players who have cleared Dark Dimension 5 and have Dormammu from what I understand. So I know that this video is not necessarily hitting the people who, you know, are thinking about this like I am. But, you know, like I do have like 20-something G16 characters. Those are the characters I beat Dark Dimension 5 with. And most of them probably will not go further than that. Because, frankly, the only ones that are part of my Horseman team are Rogue, Morgan Le Fay, and I think that's it. I don't think I have any other Horseman characters at Gear Tier 16. So it's really disappointing that a lot of these characters who are 16 probably won't go up much further, or ever. You know, they might get some gold, you know, to make it easier on the raids, you know, because the stats are good. But outside of that, for Teal Gear, I just really don't know what I'm doing. Even the Eternals. I'm not necessarily sure if the Eternals are going to make it to Gear Tier 17. I would love to do that. But, you know, the first priority is obviously Apocalypse Horseman characters. And beyond that, you know, do we even need to consider anything else? Is there something on the horizon? And that's what makes me wonder. Because of how restrictive and how much this kind of encourages hoarding, will we see either a Dark Dimension 6 proper, or are we going to get a new game mode? Why did they separate this as Epic Campaigns? Because if you notice in here that the Epic Campaigns has Dark Dimension tab, but this makes it sound like there's going to be a new Epic Campaign coming soon. And that's what I'm trying to talk about, is that are we going to have a new game mode that's not Dark Dimension? Maybe it's Dark Dimension-like, but maybe it's like, I don't know, Enter the Quantum Realm or something, maybe related to Kang, you know, in the near future. And maybe that's what's going to be G17 locked. Because we've had a lot of discussion here about why I don't really like the Apocalypse Saga, in the sense that it's prescribing 20 characters that you're going to need to gear in the 4 Horseman teams, plus maybe a few other characters that we don't know yet at this point. And, you know, it's too prescriptive. And I don't know if there's a huge priority or incentive for even Krakens to go out of their way to G17 their characters right now. Because, first of all, you can only do the Pestilence Saga coming up soon, and then there's going to be like a 2-month wait for every other saga, because it's their second pass, or who knows, right? And Apocalypse himself won't come until, I don't know, probably, my guess is personally like February or March 2023. They might even hold it back as far as the anniversary. And so, are we going to get another game mode that maybe gives us that incentive to Gear Tier 17 our characters, or other characters that aren't Horseman characters? That's what I'm thinking about. And that's what honestly I think that might be possible. But because normally when we would get the announcement for Dark Dimension 5, for example, that came out in November, and we had the announcement a few months before that. So I think there's still some time that we could maybe not get Dark Dimension because, you know, we cleared this. We got Dormammu, right? He's like the big baddie boss of Dark Dimension 5. But possibly we might get a new Dimensions of sorts, or just a new, they're going to Epic Campaign Quantum Realm, whatever it has to be. I don't know, I'm just saying that. It could be anyone, right? It could be Null, right? Who knows? But maybe they need to give us something to chase. And before I end the video, I want to just say that all of the Dark Dimensions had first-time rewards for players who got it first. Now, it's typically Tadano Mac Japan, who got the first-time clear. But, you know, there were others, I think, as well. But my point is that there was an incentive for them to get first place, that they would get some sort of fame, they would get something out of it that, you know, we've been doing this from the inception for so long now. And so it's a formula that works for them, I think, and it would be strange for them not to have something like that. So I think that we will get something on the horizon that will kind of incentivize us to think about other characters beyond the Horseman characters for Gear Tier 17. I think that's inevitable. I just don't know how long it's going to be. I honestly expect some sort of announcement in the next handful of months that will talk about something like that. Otherwise, I think that the content's going to be kind of boring between now and Apocalypse, personally, without something else to chase. But that's just me. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts about that, about an additional game mode, something to incentivize Tier 17. What are your thoughts about Apocalypse? I'd love to hear about that as well down below. So let me know. And until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.